Page 7, the Haunted Harp. 6/4 time. I'll give you a moment to recover there. It sounds worse than it is. You're still counting quarter notes, but you just got 6 of them in a measure. So you got to count to 6. Oh boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's like 6/8 time, except instead of eighth notes, we're counting quarter notes. And there's 6 quarter notes, and it all works out fine. And it's not tricky. This is fairly straightforward. Most of them are quarter notes. The dotted half notes, that's 3 quarter notes. That's fine. No sharps or flats in the key signature, but if you look throughout the piece, you'll see sharps and flats everywhere. So as far as what key this is in, I won't go there. It's like an atonal piece. It's not in any key. It's just there. I'm not an expert in that sort of thing, so I can't go there. But let's take both hands together, since it's really just playing one hand at a time except for the last measure. So I'm going to do both hands. At the beginning, third finger on F sharp, G sharp, and then thumb on in the right hand, C. Isn't this lovely? And then an A and C. Get these notes worked out first. In fact, you can forget the rhythm if you need to. Just focus on the notes. You got all these accidentals. Accidents will come. We're just doing accidentals here. And it just sounds weird, but that's what the composer wanted. Now, third line. Now we're going to move. The left hand's playing, the right hand isn't. So as you're holding this note down, the last note in the second line, move the right hand down and hover over that E flat. That's where you need to be. So you're there ready to go. And so when it's time to start the third line, you just do it. And then you get the left hand out of the way. And then you're going back up. And then the last line, you're going to cross over as you're playing the right hand, cross over so the left hand's ready, and then again, get each hand in position before you need it there. That's what's written, an F sharp and a D flat. That's what he wrote. Okay. It's all connected. You see these slurs? Yeah. Lift up a little bit between each one. The pedal's going to cover it all up, but you still do the technique of lifting up between each slur, between each phrase. Dynamics? Well, you got a lot of, you're starting out soft and you gradually go up to a medium loud. So what do you think soft is? Decide what that is, and then look at the second measure on medium. How loud is that? Sort of loud. So you're going from soft to medium. Decide what that is, and then figure out how to use 6 notes to get from one to the other. Don't get medium loud until that second measure. So you may have to practice that. Scales are good for that too, because you can practice the scales gradually getting louder and softer. And by the way, you're going to hold that down while you... And that second measure, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then come back. You're back soft. Well, in the second measure, you're coming back. So the second half note is probably more like a medium soft, and then soft. Go up louder. Go back down to soft. Now you think you're going to be soft. Now you're loud. And a diminuendo, that's the same thing as an arrow. So they don't tell you when to get soft or nothing. How long do I have to diminuendo? The next dynamic I get is the third measure of the next line. So does that mean I'm going to take 4 measures to go from loud to soft? I don't think so, but you might think so. It's an interpretive thing. They don't say anything, so it's up to me. Oh, goody. I'll come back to the interpretation in a minute. So all we know is we're starting out loud and we're going to get softer. But then when you get to the third measure, the third line, now you're soft again, and you got that crescendo, which is the same thing as an arrow. But they don't tell you when. The only other thing you get is a forte in the last measure. So I guess you're going to take the next 3 measures to go from soft to loud. That's doable. You just think about this. The first measure, or the third line last measure, that's going to be soft. The whole measure. Next measure, the last line, the first measure, that's going to be medium soft. Now medium loud. Now loud. Don't get loud until the last measure. There. So when you changing from dynamics like this, loud to soft, soft to loud, whatever, over a long period, I usually break it up into measures. I'll say, okay, this measure I'm going to be this dynamic, and this measure I'll be this dynamic. It's not per note. When it's shorter, like the first measure, you can get 6 notes. You can plan it out more like the notes. You don't have to. There's another way of doing it, and I'll explain that in a minute. But when I have multiple measures that I got to take and span that out, it's by measure or groups of measures, depending on how long it is. It's like in the second line. That forte, I got 4 measures to go from loud to soft. Well, I can do forte for the first, this is second line, second measure, forte for the whole measure, and then sort of a mezzo forte, come down a little bit, and then I'm still mezzo forte, and then come down to mezzo piano, now piano. So you plan out these crescendos and decrescendos when they're spread out. Experiment, because it can be very effective if you can span them out over time. Now, even at the first measure, as I said, you have 6 notes to go from soft to medium loud. I could, if I wanted, I could just play the first 3 notes soft, and the next 3 notes medium soft, and then medium loud. So it's one way of possibility. I don't recommend that in this case, but I'm giving you ideas on how to plan out your crescendos and decrescendos, or diminuendos, whichever, and figure it out. Now there is a ritardando at the end, so you can slow down here. How much you slow down is up to you, just slow down. And then on top of all that, they want you to hold the pedal down throughout the whole piece. So we got overtones and all mushy and everything going on. I'm not going to show the pedal because you simply push the pedal down right after you play the first note. And you leave it down until at the end, when you raise the fingers up, you raise the pedal up with them. So there's really nothing to show in pedal, you're just holding it down for the whole thing. Hold that out for 6 counts and then lift everything up at the same time, like so. How I would play it. They give a metronome speed. You can experiment with that after you get to know the piece. You have to be able to play these pieces straight through without any hesitations at all. The beat has to be there every time. It has to be like a metronome doing it. You might slow down and speed up sometimes. A metronome won't do that. But the beat has to be there every time. Let's do this slowly. I'm not going to do dynamics. I'm just doing the notes and the rhythms. And I'm not going to hold the pedal down either, because you can hear it more clearly without the pedal. So, and I want you to hear the notes. So I'm not going to use the pedal on the play with me part. I want you to hear the notes. Are you playing the same note I'm playing at the same time? So I'll give us 6 counts and let's play this together. 1, 2, 3, 4, ready, go. 1, 2, 5, 6. 5, 6. 5, 6. 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, off.